Today I'm sitting down with Vivek Gautam, PhD, the CEO of ACI, American Combustion International, and Erie Copper. With a background in combustion, international furnaces, and metal recycling, he's built systems that break down metal and reshape industries. We'll talk about how he turned deep engineering experience into real entrepreneurship and what that journey actually looks like. So, first of all, thank you for being on this call with me so I can interview you for my project.
No problems. Thank you for inviting me.
Can I first ask you to share your journey, like what inspired you to get into your field, and how did you evolve to how you are today, like into the engineering, I guess, field?
Okay, so for if we start from the beginning, how I got into the engineering, that was from I think middle school, high school, some. We were good at maths, and we asked our parents, "What should we do?" And they're like, "Okay, if you're good at maths, probably try engineering."
Mm-hmm.
In India, it used to be a very reputed examination. If you crack it, you get into the top engineering school, and we prepared for it, took the exam, got into the top college, and that's how I guess we became engineers.
Okay, that's
But
really cool.
yes,
You went to IIT, so that's really cool. Did anything like any of your interests change while you were at IIT?
actually, no. I got into mechanical engineering. Uh, basically, I so when we were trying to get in, I had two choices: mechanical or chemical. And I picked mechanical, and I'm still doing mechanical
Mm-hmm.
engineering. So it's been 30 years since I got into almost into IIT, and I'm still doing it. So now my preferences are still the same.
Interesting. Looking back, what were the biggest challenges that you faced, or any failures in your like journey?
A lot of failures. I struggled really hard during my undergrad days.
Mm-hmm.
So getting into IIT was a tough examination. We got into IIT, and once you get into IIT, a lot of the kids that get in, they don't realize that every single kid is as smart or smarter than you.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get in there, you realize that it's not an easy field to play in because every single kid is very smart.
Yeah.
So it's and the first realization of it is once you start taking classes with them and you realize that even getting to average is not easy
Yeah.
because average kid is smarter than you.
Mm-hmm. So
So
that.
it was pretty difficult the first couple of years. I even failed a couple of classes and had to really work hard afterwards just to graduate in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then I graduated in a year which was a very big crash year. 2002 was the dot com bubble burst happened. So half of my class couldn't get a job, including me.
Wow.
So those were the biggest challenges I ever faced, I would say.
That sounds tough, but you got so far. So great job.
Well, so far, so good. Yes.
So though that whole like idea, that perspective, that did that change like your mindset, perspective, how you kind of went into your future after going to IIT?
Yes, so once you get into IIT, you're all starry eyed, right? You
Mm-hmm.
think you got into the best college, now life will be smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Guess what? Life never gets easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's basically you just have to keep hustling and keep working hard. So the whole basically, hey, I cracked into IIT, and the high of getting into IIT went away pretty quickly, and it really changed the perspective that hey, just because you got into a good place, that doesn't mean it will stay in a good way. You have to keep working hard. You have to keep improving yourself if you wanna continue to succeed.
I
Basically, one success early on doesn't guarantee success in the future.
I think that's a great lesson. That's so important. So, so based on like your work you're doing now, how has your engineering background influenced your approach to like your work right now or your business right now today?
So I still pretty much do mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
What I do is we design equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And my entire undergrad was mechanical engineering where we learned to design equipment. So pretty much everything I do it comes from my what I studied at IIT. I studied basically every single course I took, I used it in one way or another.
Yeah.
Like I used, so in mechanical engineering, some of the basic classes were, fluid dynamics. Well, guess what? When I'm trying to design a pipe where the water or natural gas or oxygen, something is flowing, that's literally basic Bernoulli's theorem we still use.
Yeah.
So we still use a lot of the basic principles that we studied in undergrad. A lot of the classes are still as relevant as they were 25 years ago.
Okay, thank you. Also, with so many young or like business builders or like engineers out there, what's one piece of advice you would give the people in going into the career to make an impact?
So one good thing is, first of all, being an engineer and being an entrepreneur are two different things.
Yeah.
So for being an engineer is very detail oriented, very focused, very technical. Being a business owner or entrepreneur is a separate thing. The one common thing in both is you have to be very meticulous. You have to be very focused. You have to know your numbers right.
Yeah.
If you're designing an equipment, you have to run your calculations, make sure you do it right. And when you're running a business, you still have to run your calculations, albeit a bit different calculation. This time you have to know your cash flow, your profit and loss, and your revenue. So all that basically numbers are still there. But as long as you're meticulous in keeping your numbers and you know whether whatever decision you're going to make is a safe, sound decision, I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
For an entrepreneur, the biggest lesson I have learned is making sure that the decision in the long run will be profitable is very critical. You can't take a short-term decision. Sometimes the short-term decision appear to be profitable, but in the long run, it can be very hurtful for the company.
That makes sense. And how do you see AI shaping the future of engineering and like problem solving on like a global scale, I guess?
I think AI is going to change everything. I personally am a big believer in AI, and I'm already seeing it playing a little bit. So in our domains, pretty much AI is getting into everything. So running a business, especially an engineering business, require, let's say, 4 major functions. One major function is engineering itself, designing. Right, so let's look into it, how AI is shaping it. Used to be our engineers, like whenever we need to design something, they'll go run the calculation, they'll go find something similar, take it and start basically modifying it. AI can do it pretty much automatically, immediately. It tells you exactly what you need to do, which one you have to copy paste, and I think as it evolves, it may just literally copy the entire design for you. So that's one thing. The second thing is basically doing, so when we design something, then the next step is building it. Well, building it requires buying parts, allocating resources and putting it into a plant where basically a bunch of engineers and welders and assemblers basically build it together. Well, AI, now the tools are evolving to the extent that they already basically, used to be that we decide what part to buy, where to buy it. AI tells us where to buy it, even places orders for us, right? And then it automatically schedules resources. The last part is basically making sure that you are profitable, so you sell it and then you go install it and everything works properly. And pretty much AI is getting into every part. So AI is doing accounting a little bit for us. It is helping us with design. It's helping us with planning the resources. So I think going forward, there's still a lot of mechanical thing. AI is not going to weld, metal for me, or assemble the part for me. But it can optimize the resources in ways that I can do it the most amount of work in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah, I agree with that. And since we're on the topic of AI, are there any other emerging trends in engineering you think will have one of the bigger impacts over the next few years?
I think the smart robots, at least in my field, are going to change everything.
Yeah.
Right now, we still need humans to weld and assemble. you having a smart robot like with AI capabilities and all, it basically won't even just optimize resources. It knows what robot is needed, and basically everything will automate. So even things that are very manual, I think in 30 years from now, humans won't do it. It's going to be
Yeah.
robots doing it for us.
I totally get that. I can see that. So, if you could talk to your younger self right now, what advice would you give your younger self?
That's a good question. I like if I could go back in time, and I basically have to really think about, you know, one thing I would do is I would jump in entrepreneurship sooner rather than later.
Okay. What do you
The
mean by that?
So when I first decided to become an entrepreneur, I was already 36 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty successful corporate career. My risk appetite was much lower. Once you start at the age of 24, 25, 26, you don't have the knowledge, but your risk appetite is much higher.
Yeah.
You can afford to fail.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Like so now I've been an entrepreneur only 7, 8 years, and now I don't take big risks. Because guess what? Because I have two small kids, I don't want to take a big chance that I have no money left and I need to restart.
Mm-hmm.
I have to worry about my family.
Yeah.
If I am 30 years old and I don't have kids, I can still keep taking chances.
Yeah.
So I would say that basically don't postpone decisions that you needed to take. Take a decision then and move on.
Okay. Jump right into it.
Jump right into it.
Okay. Perfect. So.
Know when you're ready and just go for it.
Mm-hmm. So you started in your 30s, right? How did you start, like, with entrepreneurship?
I started with business school.
Okay.
When I was working in Atlanta, I started taking part-time business school classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a bunch of classes, and I really enjoyed entrepreneurship and basically finance and all. And I'm like, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
But there were a lot of entrepreneurs in our classes that would come share their stories. The same way I'm sharing my story with you. In business school class, a lot of very successful entrepreneurs came and shared their stories, and I realized I can do something similar.
Yeah.
So that's how I got the idea of trying, and when I got the opportunity, I just took it.
Okay. So how many years would you say was the rough parts of entrepreneurship? Because I definitely know at least the first few years are definitely tough.
See, so that's a kind of tricky question.
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurship is never, rough and then it's smooth.
Yeah.
It's more like a sinusoidal curve. You know what a sinusoidal curve is, basically?
I do. Yeah.
So you have good times and you have bad times.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps going. Ups and downs are part of it. Basically, as an entrepreneur, ups and downs are part of your life. You can never get rid of it. So there are some good times, there are some bad times, there are some rough patches, every couple of years, and then there are some good patches every couple of years. So it never is smooth sailing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, that makes sense. So I bet since it wasn't smooth sailing, you had some parts where you kind of felt down or you couldn't push through. So how do you what would you say to help you push through?
That's where basically friends, mentors, and family come in picture. So first of all, when you're personally down, basically playing with your kids and just going out with them and doing something fun takes your mind away from the problem.
Yeah.
It rejuvenates you to face the problem. And if you're really stuck into a problem, mentors, like if I am stuck on a problem that I don't know how to solve, I call, I'm stuck here. I don't know if you have a solution, but let's talk. Since he is also an entrepreneur, sometimes, just talking with him at least gives me a path. Even if it doesn't give me a solution, it gives me a path to move forward. So talking to your friends, talking to your mentors really help a lot at that point.
Okay. Thank you. Also, what role does teamwork and collaboration play in your field?
Forget about my field, any field, pretty much. Without teamwork or collaboration, no matter what field you're in, even if it's a very individualistic field. Let's say, I'll tell you one individualistic field, as in you are an accountant. and you run accounting for one company.
Mm-hmm.
It's very individual. You're running accounting. Uh, Even that you can't do without teamwork. As in, basically, let's say you're an accountant. You can't really run an accounting practice until you have good set of data. Who gives you the data? Your client. So you have to really work with your client to make sure that he gives you good information.
Mm-hmm.
Then you take that information and you file taxes, and then you basically, you're talking to your other collaborators to make sure that the taxes are filed right.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's say you're a doctor and you're running one person clinic. You're a physician who has a clinic, you're running a clinic. Well, you still need collaboration with your patients, your collaboration with your receptionist to taking data, your collaboration with your insurance companies to make sure that the claims are processed, collaboration with your labs to make sure the tests you're running gets to you in time. So no matter what field you're in, even if it's a very individualistic field, you still have to collaborate with a lot of partners and support team around you.
Okay, thank you.
It's very critical. In my field, it's more so than, because in engineering, at least the work we do is never one person. It's not like one mechanical engineer does it. Your design engineer designs it. Your fabrication engineers help fabricate it. Your startup engineer basically goes and installs it. And then you have the back office team, basically the procurement team, the accounting team, the tax team,
Yeah, that's a
the
lot more
HR team.
collaboration. That's a lot more than I thought there would be.
Yeah, you will be surprised. One small job requires at least 6 or 7 teams working together.
Wow. So that's definitely a big aspect.
Big aspect. Teamwork and collaboration is all absolutely the key.
So I know you learned about business and you took like business classes along with engineering. Do you think every engineer should like take a few business classes? Like, is that definitely helpful?
That I think is absolutely must. Even if you don't have to go to business school, just take a couple of basic, accounting and finance classes. It really helps improve the decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes to understand the importance of basically, there is a statement called penny wise, penny wise, pound foolish. Like sometimes you spend way too much time taking a small decision that don't affect, and then you make a big mistake.
Yeah.
So I think understanding accounting and basic finance is absolutely necessary, not only for all engineers. I think any professional. Let's say you go become a doctor, even for you, I would say is very important to understand basic accounting and basic finance, because you're running your own clinic or you're running your own finances. Knowing those really helps.
Okay, thank you. And to wrap up this meeting, I have one last question. To sum up your whole journey from middle school when you just started learning to now, what's one word or phrase you would give it and why?
So, one thing I always have believed in, and I keep telling is there is nothing called a dream job. Go for a dream workplace. Even if you don't like a job, if you have a great boss and if you have a great team together, you'll end up loving it.
Yeah.
So the one sentence or one phrase I say is, a dream boss is always better than a dream job.
Okay. And can you elaborate on that? Did you like figure that out through experience?
Yes. So sometimes what happens is if you don't like the team you're working with or your boss, even if it's a dream job, they can make you miserable, because guess what? They're not collaborating, and you're working in your dream job, but you're not succeeding because your team is not really supporting you.
Yeah.
And let's say you're taking a job where basically you don't really enjoy the job, but the team is so great that the outcome is great. Because the point is, in no matter what job you're doing, as a person, you're just a small cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a great team and a great leader, then the outcome is not great. And the goal of any job is to have a good outcome, not going through the motions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. That's all. Is there any more you would like to tell me about your like your job or where you work? Because I'm really interested. Anything else?
So basically, we have a small engineering company, and we design burners for recycling plants.
Mm-hmm.
So when you recycle your aluminum cans or your glass bottles or your plastic milk bottles or cardboards, they all go into a furnace
Yeah.
where they basically get melted and then refined, and the clean metal comes out, or clean glass comes out, or clean paper comes out. And all that basically burning all the impurities and melting requires a big burner. That's what we make.
Okay.
So
So,
we design and make burners for recycling furnaces.
mhm. So if I'm correct, when I googled you, it said you were in two, like you own two companies, or you work at two.
Yes,
So
yes.
what would the second one be as well?
The second, so we basically, one company is the design company
Yeah.
that designs the burners, you know. The other company that fabricates the same thing that
Oh,
we
I
design.
see.
So
That's
it's two
cool.
companies, but it used to be that our company was only a design company.
Mm-hmm.
We were outsourcing our manufacturing. Now we acquired the company that was manufacturing it for us. So now we have two companies, but they are pretty intertwined.
Yeah, that's very cool. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Sia, and good luck with everything.